this is Libby from Invictus Fitness. Today we're going to be talking about the GHD hip extension. I have Lalo here. He is going to be demoing for us today. Why would we use this machine? So a lot of times in the gym, this gets used to collect dust for water bottles or for hanging like jackets on the side. But this machine, this apparatus is actually really critical for midline stability and for core strength. So walking through the hip extension today, what we're going to be able to do is in an unloaded environment, we are going to build awareness for how to flex at the hip without moving the trunk. Okay, and that's going to be super important as it carries over to our deadlifts, our Olympic lifts, other movements that we see kind of in the gym. So let's first talk about how we set up on the GHD hip extension. So Lalo, first and foremost, is going to have his feet slid into the pads. Now, when he goes to set up, I'm going to have him always place his hands on the handles. And then as he extends his body all the way out, he's going to keep his hands here. Now, what I want you guys to see is that his hips are free of the pad. Because I need him to flex here, I need him to be able to move this independently. Okay, go ahead and relax for a second. Okay, holding onto the handles is going to be the first step of anything that we do. Once the athlete feels comfortable, just, hey, I know what this position feels like, then I'll just have the athlete release their hands off the handles. So if Lalo comes out, and then I might be able to just spot him here just to make sure that he's good. And what we're looking for here is that we've got this nice neutral spine. And the muscles that are involved in this are going to be the hamstrings, the glutes, and then the spinal erectors, which are going to keep him in this upright position. Relax for a second. Now, we don't have to go just from that starting position all the way down to full range of motion. So we can kind of find somewhere in between to start building capacity. So I'm just going to spot Lalo, and he's going to come out, and I'm going to get him into his Superman position. And then I might just say, hey, Lalo, hit my hands, and he's going to come down, pause for a second. He's maintaining this spinal position, and he's going to use his glutes and his hamstrings to bring him back up to the top. And I feel like he's good there, so I'm going to say, okay, come a little bit lower. He's got that nice neutral spine, and then he's going to use his glutes and his hamstrings to fire back to the top. And then I might work him a little bit lower. And he's got a nice controlled tempo, good. He's going to keep going all the way to his end range of motion, flexing at the hip, and then squeeze to come to the top. Okay, relax for a second. Now let's talk about the end range of motion. So we can either go until the athlete is at 90 degrees. That's going to be kind of a standard range of motion. However, only go so far down to where you can keep that nice neutral spine. So if we tend to, or if we eventually at some point on the way down, go into that rounded back, that flex position, that's not what we're looking for. So I'm actually going to have Lalo try and demo this for us. So we see that he's good here. He starts out in a good position, and he starts lowering down. And then at some point, whether this is his end range, go ahead and round your back for me, Lalo. If this is the position that he gets into, this is his end range. This is too low for him, so I'm just going to say, okay, arch up, re-engage. Now I've got the position that I want, come back up. Okay, and Lalo's flexible. He can get to almost that completely 90-degree position, and it's fine, but that's something that you'll want to look out for. Now, we can make this movement harder. Let's say you can do 25 slow and controlled GHD hip extensions, and you're looking for another way to challenge this. We can add a tempo where we lower down for 3 seconds on the way down. We could also have a plate loaded on the anterior, so the front side of the body, so you're holding on to that to add a little bit of load to the movement. Those are going to be ways to make it harder. Now, safety-wise, like we mentioned just before, we want to make sure that we're in that neutral spine position. That's something that we're trying to train. So we're trying to train the ability to flex at the hip without flexing at the spine. Okay, so let's show like 3 to 4 kind of nice and controlled reps in a row. Yep, go just a little bit faster. Excellent. So again, you guys, we're training spinal erectors, core stability, the ability to flex at the hip without flexing at the trunk. Give it a shot, let us know how it goes.